Hello, everybody. Today I'm gonna talk about a subject that may concern some of you or may save you in the future from disappointment. What I'm talking about are some supplements that have been promoted in someone's YouTube channel, Andrew Huberman. So, what I'm trying to convey today is that I had a really bad experience with the three supplements for sleep, taking into account that I was taking an antipsychotic. Let me just look. Yeah, it's also. I'll simply explain to you what happened. So there was a time where when I was trying to go back to school in college to take programming computer science, and I was having trouble like managing my stress. I was overly conscious about my answers in class and trying to solve the problem in the best way possible. And during that time, I had some disruptions with sleep. And so I looked online and I found Andrew Huberman's video about sleep. And he was proposing if you needed supplements. And I started first with l-theanine, 100 milligrams. And when I took it, I actually slept through the morning the first day and I felt powerful. I thought that, oh, like magic, my problem was solved and that I didn't need anymore to worry about my sleep. Like I didn't need to worry about my stress levels and having a good pre-bed routine, even though it's besides the point. Like you can also have a good pre-bed routine and still take the supplement. But what happened is that I relied on the supplement and I was starting to take more and more of it. So I went to from 100 milligrams of theanine to 200 to 300. And then I started adding another sleep supplement that was recommended by Andrew Huberman, magnesium threonate. And when I started taking magnesium threonate at night, I started to feel like electric shocks in my brain. And it's probably due to the fact that it interacted with my antipsychotic. And I started waking up 2 hours earlier. So instead of waking up at 7, I woke up at 5. And I still felt that I was able to study. It was good and all, but I started realizing that towards 3 or 4 p.m., I didn't have any energy to focus or study anymore. But I just justified to myself that I had less energy because I had a more focused energy in a smaller amount of time. So I sacrificed quantity for quality. That was my justification. I didn't try to be more objective and realize that something wasn't quite right. And so when one day I wanted to stop the supplement to see if I can get back to how I was before, I was sorely disappointed. When I stopped the theanine and the magnesium threonate, I felt that my sleep architecture got modified. I started waking up earlier and I felt like it was harder to focus. I felt less energetic when I stopped the theanine. And it could be explained by the fact that L-theanine increases REM sleep duration or concentration. I don't know the exact research details. So it improves the quality of your sleep. And so when you stop taking it, you realize that you couldn't get back to the quality of sleep that you had before taking the supplement. I meant like before you had any issues that made you want to take the supplement. So you're actually adding something that gives you a power, but it's dependent on that external substance. It's not dependent on you trying to fix your sleep schedule or trying to change your lifestyle. Because as normal human beings, if you do not add those substances, even though they seem to be natural, L-theanine, it comes from, for example, from tea, and it's extracted from tea. Like when you take a cup of tea, you only have like 10 milligrams of L-theanine in it or something like that. So taking 200 milligrams in one pill of L-theanine is as if you like took the molecule from 20 servings or more of tea. So it's a bit natural to have that much concentration of theanine in one go. And so I started realizing that I needed to continue to take the supplements. Like without the supplements, I felt like crap. I didn't felt energetic. I needed to take naps more when I didn't take the supplement. So I kept taking those two. And for a certain time, it actually solved my problems. I didn't need to worry about my lifestyle and the deep inner problems that I had to fix, I actually relied on that short-term fix, and I thought that my problem was over. But then, as I was relying on the l-theanine and magnesium threonate, my problems were still there. My habits and my lifestyle, my mental state, my psychological state were the same. And so that supplement masked actually the fact that I had the ability to improve my situation had I just waited for a few months, a few weeks until my problem would adjust for itself. So as I took the supplement, I relied on them. It's like people who take steroids, they feel extremely great at the gym, but once they stop taking it, they feel even worse than how they started. And I feel the same thing for those supplements. But what was the breaking straw for me was I took a third supplement called apigenin, and the 12 next day were one of the worst moments of my life, because what I didn't realize was that apigenin inhibits an enzyme in my liver that processes my antipsychotic medication. So as I took apigenin, my antipsychotic actually tripled or quadrupled or even went higher. So my antipsychotic concentration started skyrocketing. So I was feeling extremely sedated. I felt really like crap. The first time I took the apigenin, my brain was in pain. I felt like electric shocks and kind of like needles in my brain. And it was because I was taking it with my antipsychotic. My antipsychotic is Zyprexa. So be careful, people who start apigenin. Be sure that you're not taking like Zyprexa or any medication that's metabolized by a certain enzyme, CYP enzyme 1A2. Usually, the people who take psychiatric medication, they're more vulnerable and sensible to those kind of supplements that mess with your brain, because the antipsychotic makes the brain more vulnerable to those interactions. So, for instance, a person who is normal, who doesn't take psychiatric medication, maybe wouldn't notice any difference when he takes like theanine or magnesium threonate. Like the brain is much more malleable, much more resilient. But for people taking antipsychotics or other medication, the brain is much more vulnerable to interacting with other substances that you take that goes into the brain. Also, there aren't any enough researchers that tells you exactly what it does to the brain. So maybe in 10 years, they'll actually find out that some supplements are actually detrimental for the brain. Those supplements are not natural as you take it. Like, sometimes you would say that psychiatric substances are actually worse than the natural supplements, but that's not necessarily true, because some natural substances are really toxic for the body. So it's not a good logical way to look at it. It's not because something is natural that it's better for you. It's actually something that has been researched more, and well, not necessarily researched more, but something that has been used on a large set of population. If for a few decades that set of population is still able to thrive, then it's a good sign. There is this quote that says, when you take steroids, you feel like a god, but when you stop taking them, you feel less than a mortal. And I feel the same thing for supplements that help sleep. Melatonin, I feel like is less risky, but people tend to abuse it and take 10 milligrams or even go to up to 30 milligrams. But instead of relying on quick solution and outside external solution, I think that sometimes you just need to wait it out, like give yourself some time, make more relaxing activities to forget the ordeal that you're in, and start to take action to change a bit your lifestyle day by day. And I promise you that usually those things do not last for a long time. If I would have waited and gone off my college courses and took some time off, I would have been better than what I am today. This period of 3-4 months of taking the supplements, before that ordeal, before I even have any problem that required me to take the supplements, my focus, I was able to study 8 hours a day, math and physics. But right now I'm only able to study 2 to 3 hours and then make some YouTube videos later on. So there has been damage in my brain, and I hope that my brain repairs itself over time. It got better, and I'll explain in another video how I was able to regain mental energy, but for some time even, I wasn't able to study at all because of taking those supplements for a certain time and getting off of them and trying not to rely on them anymore. So yeah, in the next video, I'll explain how I was able to get some of my energy back, and maybe what I'm doing with my antipsychotic right now to hope to regain some energy. Thank you very much for listening, and take care, you guys.